Hey, it's your favorite educator, Rashida Roberts here at the CashFlow Convo, brought to you by Target-Financial.com, where we're talking about how to increase your cash flow and the crucial cash flow conversations about everyday finances with real people and real results. I hope everyone is doing well out there. Thanks for stopping by to get a dose of money motivation. Catch us every Thursday on your favorite podcast program. And don't forget to crush the like button, hit the keys, and leave us a comment. Tell us where you're from and share this episode with family and friends. Actually, go get your favorite drink and snacks right now and talk about this episode and start a combo of your own. Look, go to thecashflowconvo.com to check out more of our resources and to be a guest on our show. We want to hear real stories, real questions, and real results from everyday folks and even some of our experts. Now, let's dive into the Cash Flow Convo, where we target your mind and your money. All right. Well, we are live. It's been a while, y'all. It's me. Yes, I wanted to come on and have a conversation today. So we are actually live, not only on Facebook, we're everywhere in my group, on my page, and also on Clubhouse and YouTube. All right. So there will, I wanted to talk about ways to increase your cash flow. So this is just, hey, you haven't seen me in a while, and it's time to ramp up the stage because this is a crucial time of the year. People are, I just feel it. I smell it in the air. Debt. I feel, the overspending, everything, the anxiety that comes along with this year, but also the, I don't want to say depression, but that does come, with this, because I am not a counselor and I don't want to diagnose somebody, with that, but it's definitely a stressful time of the year. And so I want to make sure, that we still keep an eye out and still have in our minds, the goals that we need to make and the things that we need to complete. So no matter how we're feeling, we still need to make sure that we're breaking up with money and make some logical decisions about our cash flow. And so today I wanted to talk about some ways that we can increase our cash flow, but maybe not the typical ways that we always think of. So yeah, so let's just start out talking about. We're going to talk about some of the things that are not typical, like getting another part-time job. Yes, you can do that to increase your cash flow, but then also your time, is being taken away as well. So we have to think of, just the things that are going on in life. And what would you expect, y'all? I'm getting messages. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. All righty. So let's just think about this, okay? About 29% of singles feel financially Only 29% of singles feel financially secure. 29%. And we make up a pretty large number these days because people aren't jumping into marriage like they used to. Um, they make up the 90% of people, but they make up the 90% of the people who are buried in debt. That's crazy. So singles, we got to get our acts together. Part of the 78 part, we're part of the 78% of the people who are living paycheck to paycheck, and the 70% of people who have less than $5,000, even sometimes $500 to their name at the age of 65. And so I'm partnered with experts who help our members save millions of dollars with a few simple steps using the money that you're already making. See, I don't care how much money you're making, whether you're making five figures or six figures, chances are that you know somebody in your household, at your job, at every level that's still broke, right? So I know because 78% of people living paycheck to paychecks. Consumer debt is in the trillions. And I know you're thinking that was because of the pandemic. No, that was before the pandemic. Okay. Credit card loans are just astronomical. And we want to change that. Okay. So that's why I work with singles and educators who are ready to change their personal relationship with money by income shifting, meaning we're increasing our cash flow, we're ditching debt, we're minimizing our taxes, crushing credit problems, and then just setting ourselves up to begin to not begin but to build wealth, right? So I focus on setting boundaries and mindset and income shifting strategies so that that's going to give you power not only to live a debt-free life, but it's going to set you up and leave a legacy for your family, right? So look, I have a link. Oh, let me make sure I put the link. The link is already in the replay, but I'm going to make sure I put it on Clubhouse as well. For about the next 24 hours, you can just go to www.thecashflowconvo to get in contact with me. But I want to make sure that I have that so that anybody who is watching the replay can get that. So again, that's www.thecashflowconvo.com. And that's actually just going to go straight to the where you can get some information about the information here today. Okay. So again, I do work with some partners who other partners because I'm just a financial, I say just a financial coach, but I am the helping with the foundation. And then we have other experts to help you. All right. So let's just think money is the one topic everybody talks about. But at the same time, it's the one topic that everybody really doesn't want to talk about. But we should, because we all want more of it. And when it comes to determining our lifestyle, it's almost as important as oxygen. So, however, for most of us Americans, it's very scary, it's confusing. Sometimes it's even complicated. And you think just money is just about one plus one equals two, right? Or two minus one equals one. But it's really deeper than that because there are so many different areas in finances that we find ourselves struggling with. Because money determines where we live, the type of car we drive, the quality of healthcare that we can afford, who and who you're acquainted with, how and where you travel, if you ever even get that opportunity to do there's plenty of people who've never been outside of their city or even sometimes their neighborhood. So there's all different levels of money problems and money topics, even to the point, retirement or not to retire. So, everybody, but the big thing is that everybody has two objectives. We all have the same two objectives, but we all have four challenges in America when it comes to our money. So, our two objectives are our objectives that we're all trying to get across or that we're all trying to work on are one, we're all trying to fund our current lifestyle, and then two, we are trying to secure our future. So with our current lifestyles, we look at what our labor. Like, what can we do now? Because we're in, pretty good shape. We can work, we can grind it out, we can hustle, whatever it is, right? And then we look towards our future, because as we get older, because you think about it, back in the day, and historically, you see families have taken care of the elderly, and different things like that. But there are a lot of families, especially as singles, as we get older, some of us are finding ourselves that we are single, and some people prefer to be that way. So we have to really look at how can we secure our future. And we know nothing is ever 100% secure, but how can we put ourselves in a better place not to end up in certain predicaments that we wouldn't want for our lasting or end days, right? And so that's what we have to look at. So we want our current lifestyle, we can do it labor, but our future lifestyle, we want to look at what are the investments that we can put in. So our challenges are taxes, debt, big business, and inflation. Some people don't look at it as that way, but those are actually some big hits. What we ask people, what is their what is your biggest expense? And most people say the kids or house, but actually taxes. We pay taxes all our lives, all our lives. As long as we're, spending money, making money, you pay taxes. And that starts from the time that you're born when you start spending money, right? So whether you go, you send your child to the grocery store, they got to pay taxes on, whatever it is that they're getting. So, you know, we need to figure out how can we increase our cash flow in spite of these challenges. So you have your taxes, right? The government takes about 1/3 of our income through taxes, right? They are FICA, federal, state, social security. Then you are taxed on the pay you were already taxed on. And if you don't believe me, when you think about, the car that you buy, your furniture, your groceries, clothes, you already pay taxes, even though that money that you got from your current pay, from your job, you are still taxed on it with each and every purchase. So, when you buy a house, you pay property tax. When you die, your family has to pay taxes for your funeral and burial. And if you leave an inheritance, uh, to your family, sometimes they have to pay taxes on the inheritance or the estate, and that just depends on how you set it up. Okay, this is why it's always good to talk to some financial planners, estate planners. You have to make sure that you are setting yourself up, for like you're setting yourself up, for a good play. Yes. I think about, how the teams work together, and they set them up for a dunk or to, get a 2 point or a 3 point. They run the play so they can set their teammates up to shoot the shot and slam dunk. So even throughout all sport, even like, tennis, you have to set up the play right in order to crush your goal. So we need to do that with our finances. So when you think about, the taxes, think about it. You're paying taxes. That's a pretty big expense. So that's a challenge that all of us have to deal with. Another challenge is debt, because taxes are taking most of your paycheck. Okay, 1/3 is a pretty big chunk, and sometimes we don't think about that. We just look at the leftovers and we try to plan and do that. And then we're thinking about, well, how does a previous president get away with paying no taxes? Okay, you have to see you instead of being mad that they pay less taxes than you, figure out how they're doing it, because it's legal. Change the laws, right? Change the laws, and that's something within our power. But a lot of times we don't look at it in that way. So debt, because taxes are taking most of your paycheck, we have to we go into debt, right? To live. Now we're faced with, we forced to use the credit cards, we use loans, to subsidize our income. Now we're giving what, another 1/3 of our money to the banks via credit cards, auto loans, personal loans, student loans, mortgages, house loans. Now house loans pretty much, our biggest expense, but we pretty much have accepted debt as what? The norm. And we congratulate our friends. Yay! Yay! I need a whole little applause over there when we get new cars and we get, these outrageous purses and different things like that. But when you look at the net worth, mm, when you look at the net worth, right? So sometimes we really need to just make sure that, you know, that debt thing. Okay. I'm not gonna stay on that too long because it's definitely it's an issue. It is an issue, but I'm gonna let it go. Okay. And then right now, a lot of times, like I've talked about inflation before, but you know, it's kind of like because it's so back there and it's kind of like that silent killer, right? The thing that you really don't think about, but if it hit, then you really would have a problem. And so because it's slowly inflation slowly increases, we don't necessarily pay attention to it. But right now, during this pandemic and in the past couple of years, we know what inflation looks like. We've been talking about, you've been seeing the prices increase. So, inflation is when the cost of your goods and services are going up daily. A lot of you all are talking about the gas, but we've been preaching about this. At least I've been preaching about this for at least 2.5 years now, almost 2.5 years. And you know, nobody is, paying attention to the inflation. But now you see, okay, because when now you have to pay 20 10, 15 more dollars than what you actually used to pay, your money is not valued at the same as it was. So for the same haircut or the same, you know, milk or eggs, whatever you're getting, you're having to pay more. And we've seen them on the receipts for different things that we're having to pay more service. We're having to pay more for the same service or even sometimes less service. So, and when you think about your 1 to 2% that you get on a pay increase that you get in the beginning of the new year, that's like putting a band-aid on a gunshot wound, right? Because in order to outpace inflation, you're gonna have to pay. You're gonna have to pay. Your pay is gonna have to increase at least about 8% or better. And when was the last time you got paid 8%? Depends on what job that you're at, right? Depends on what job. Now I know that I have a lot of entrepreneurs on my page and a lot of entrepreneurs that I network with. So at the same token, entrepreneurs have to deal with inflation because now they're paying for their goods and products and services that they need to, but the difference is they can pass that price on that cost on to their consumers. And that just depends if their consumers are willing to pay for it, once you get to the different parts of economics, supply and demand. So, but we've seen it, gas prices, hair shops, different things. So companies have already added, you saw the surcharges that were being added during the pandemic. So, you know, so we have taxes, debt, and inflation. Okay. So if your money's sitting in the bank, it's not growing, but the inflation is going up, you're actually losing money. Okay. You're losing money. And I see a lot of I even saw a news article that was telling people to spend their money, don't let it sit in the bank because of inflation, they're losing money. Well, definitely, yeah, you're losing money, but you're going to lose money by spending it as well. So you want to think about where you can put your money. Okay. And then the other place that we lose money is through business. This is the biggest time of the year when we talk about big business. Okay. Big business and your living expenses, that takes another third of your income. And whether you really realize it or not, big business makes your wants feel like your needs. So how significant is that? Think about it. You tend to purchase what you think you need. Okay. And a lot of time is wrapped up in FOMO, fear of missing out, and YOLO, you only live once, right? So you make your wants your needs. And big business convince you that, like, right around now, even now, not even now, oh my gosh, during the pandemic, that you needed that 65-inch TV or the 55-inch TV. Um, when you already have, maybe a 50-inch TV or whatever. Okay. It convinces you that you need the new iPhone, even though you just got the latest one and now there's a new one 6 months later, or, Android or whatever kind of phone that it is. It's always, it's all wrapped up in the consuming part, that you're just getting consumption, you're consuming and you can't stop. It's an addiction. Okay. So, there's a holiday for every single month of the year. And so the big business spends billions of dollars advertising to you, during those holidays months, but they even do it months in advance so that you will spend, your dollars. And we don't even think about our birthdays, anniversaries, graduations, deaths, all which continually dip in our pockets. And now that our paycheck is gone, hey, we still need to try to do it. Save and invest for retirement while trying to stay ahead of inflation. And so the results lead to 78% again living paycheck to paycheck, 80% with credit challenges, 90% buried in debt, and then that leaves 70% of Americans with less than $5,000 at age 65. Um, do we have a problem? Yes, we have a problem. We have a big problem. And that's why I want people to think of ways to income shift and to increase their cash flow. Okay. So for me, for years, I've shifted money away from me, like pulling money out of retirement fund to pay off debt. Well, at least that's what it was supposed to be used for, but that's not what I used it for. But first, you have to get with the mindset, right? We have to get with the mindset. But, we can tackle all of these. And so when we think about, our taxes, okay, that's the first mindset shift that we have to do. We leave our money with the IRS, with even within our paychecks. And some people are afraid to even, touch the form that they're supposed to fill out every year, or even when major changes happen or policy changes. But a lot of us don't even keep up with policy changes. So as a W-2 employee, so if you have a job, you're a W-2 employee, you should be filling out your W-4, when there are major things that happen in your life or if policy changes happen. But some people still have not changed their W-4 in years, and policies have changed a lot. So you want to make sure that you do, you want to make sure that you are, looking at your W-4. Even if you don't do it yourself, you can do it with your tax personnel, your tax accountant, your CPA. If you have a tax attorney, some of them may look at it as well. Your tax planner. Okay. Just make sure you have a great tax professional that can help you do that, because you could, instead of getting a refund and letting the IRS hold your money, that's money in your pocket that you could actually be utilizing. Okay. Think if, as an educator, we pay into a different system for retirement. So we don't have all those four things pulling out of our taxes. But even so, I was able to update and correct my W-4. I made sure it was correct. And so I got back, once I corrected a few times, because I was a little scared at first. Nobody wants to play with the IRS, but I did correct it, and eventually, I think I got anywhere from $200 to $300 back. I haven't been tracking it. I can't remember, but now I can even get down to, not paying the regular taxes out of my regular paycheck, because I do have businesses as well. So some things to help you curb your taxes is updating your W-4. Okay. If you look at your paycheck, you'll see, how much you pay in taxes. Well, some people are paying, $800,000 in taxes. Some people, it just depends, because some people are making, great money with their jobs, but we have to always look at how we minimize our taxes. And getting a business as well will help you with minimizing your taxes as well. Now, and I'm talking about federal taxes. So there are other taxes that business pay into, but that's one area where you could help you eliminate some of your taxes. All right, to debt. Okay. We have to increase our cash flow by killing some of the debt. Okay. So let's say you were able to pay off your car earlier, whether that was a year earlier, 2 years earlier. That money now that you have, once you pay things off, you can increase your cash flow because you wouldn't have to be paying your debtor, right? So in order to do that, you got to budget, shred some bills. That's one of the first things I did when I started analyzing. I got on the phone and I started lowering my monthly expenses. So you can eliminate subscriptions, and then you can cut out your debt by using the snowball method. There are actually three methods that people use, but the two methods that are most common are snowball to get rid of your debt, the snowball method, or the debt avalanche. And the difference between those is that snowball, you write down your debts from smallest to largest, and then you tackle the smallest debt, right? And then you have debt avalanches where you write down your debt from based on the interest rate. So what is the highest interest rate? You start with the highest interest rate and then you go down to the lowest interest rate. And so you pay off your debts based on that. Okay. The first one will help you with emotional, you tend to ditch the debt with the emotional, right? And then the that avalanche is you want to stick it to the man, you want to stick it to the bank, hey, y'all not about to get all of that interest money out of me. So you pay the highest debt first. So that way you pay actually the small you actually pay less back in, with the debt avalanche. But what the snowball method does is psychologically, once you start, you know, cutting that debt out, and then you kind of like get a aha, like, oh my gosh, if I go a little faster at this, if I do this, man, I will be free of all that cash. Imagine if you didn't have any debt right now, what you could do in the stock market, what could you do to invest? Like, how could you grow your money at a faster pace if you didn't have any debt? All right. And then we have investment income. You can Oh, yeah, you have well, actually, before that, credit. How does credit increase your cash flow? Well, it will allow you to refinance your home if you have pretty good credit score, so that way you can actually get more money in your pocket, so you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay as much on your your mortgage, right? So if you can increase your cash flow that way, but you can also refinance different things like your car, or you can ask for a lower you can get better APR score, APR interest rate, your annual percentage rate, could be lower, and that can help you increase your cash flow if you don't have to pay so much. How much do you have to pay for your debt, right? So sometimes we make those big purchases, but oh my gosh, those interest rates are killer. So your credit is another way that can help you increase your cash flow. And there's even other things like, I use um well, I'm not even going to talk about that because that's a whole nother subject. All right. You can get paid for your credit, y'all. Y'all can get paid for your good credit. That's all I'm going to say. All right. And then, you want to think about investment income. And so a lot of people don't invest. And I'm kind of like, I didn't even notice it. Like, I know there's some people, they don't have stocks, and I just I'm just thankful for the little stock club that I have as a youngin. It's kind of, you just don't know what people don't know when you are in when you've been doing it like for a long time. So it's definitely good to invest. And so I know a lot of people culturally have issues with investing and not trusting, financial bankers and different things like that, with being the head of the household and running things. And but you're gonna need to, there are people who do this for a living. Stop getting mad at other people who own everything, and we got to jump in the game ourselves. Okay, so money doesn't need to be sitting in the bank. People are flexing and being proud of having stacks of cash sitting in the bank. Well, the bank is using your money to go to make money off of you. Like, they are making money off of you, but you won't make money off of you. That's crazy. And not money where you got to actually go work, like, an 8-hour job, and clock in, punch in and out. This is your money working for you. And so we can't just be letting, $50,000 sit in a savings account and be proud of ourselves. We need to actually be utilizing it and making it grow. So investment gets, investment income, gets your dollars working for you. And so now your money is making money through compound interest, capital gains, dividends, and business. You have residuals, royalties, bonuses, all kind of things, right? So as an investor, you are taxed at a lower rate than you are at your job. uh, get that. Imagine your physical labor, your hard work, your blood, your sweat, your tears, you put up with people who run you in the ground sometime, who, can't won't think about you one iota outside of work, and they tax you the most on your hard labor. But when you get your money working for you, with the capital gain, well, I'm not even gonna talk about that. But when your money working for you is taxed at a lower rate. Okay. So but this, you can have your money working for you 24/7. So while you're sleeping, you are still making money. Like, come on, right? So when your money is working for you and it's working 24/7, it doesn't call in late, it doesn't take a leave or vacation days. Your money makes more money and you are taxed the least. And so everybody always quotes Warren Buffett, when he talks about, if you go a few years ago when he's talking about he pays less in taxes than his secretary. Why? Because she's an employee and he's an investor. So a good way to look at that, if you go and look at Robert Kiyosaki's, cash flow quadrant, the 4 quadrants, and just search for that in your favorite search engine, and you'll see those 4 different quadrants where your money should go, where you should be expiring to. You should be expiring more to on the right as opposed to on the left, because most people actually, most people, we trade our time for dollars. Where if if you start trading your dollars, then you can get back your time, right? So invest. All right, so whether you realize it or not, we're all working towards those 2 objectives: current lifestyle, and our future lifestyle. But the thing is, what are you going to do when you can no longer have the labor income? What is going to happen? Okay, because one of 3 things will happen. Your boss no longer requires your service. Ding ding. Okay. 2, you're gonna get too old or sick. Yeah, and sometimes that comes quicker than we would like, right? Where you can't work any longer. And or you just are tired of working and of making someone else rich. Or some fatality happens and cuts our work year short. Okay. And so then we have to also think about our future investments. You can't afford to wait until you are no longer working to start investing. Okay. That's even when you think about life insurance. You can't wait till you get older, because who's going to insure you? It's going to cost you a lot more. And do you have the dollars to fund that? So many financial advisors say you need to have an investment with a rate of return of at least 8% or higher to live off the 10% of your investment. And so, which means whatever your current lifestyle is, You need to add a zero to it. And that's what you must have already in your investment so that when you're no longer working, that you can sustain your life, right? So think about $50,000. You make $50,000 yearly, then you must have $500,000 in investment, and so that's so 10% of 500,000 is 50,000. But you have to think, how long is that going to last? Right? How long is that going to last? So I don't want anybody to end up, you know, like the 70% of Americans, age 65 with less than $5,000. How long can you survive out for $5,000? Okay, I like everyone to, retire when they wish and not depend on Social Security. How well, I mean, if we think about how well is the government taking care of your needs now? We're always up in arms with the government, but yet we leave a lot of stuff up to them, like our retirement. you know it's like we want our stuff to go in probate court, because when you don't have a plan, trust, a will, a living will, you leave your you leave your life. The probate, the court's not there for you, after your death. They're gonna place your debts before your family's needs. You might have a policy, or you might have something where assets, and if you don't have your stuff planned out, you might have to end up, your probate court is going to decide for you, and you don't want them to decide. So just implore you to just not try, shift your income, right? Use the money that you already have to move in the right direction, right? So here's what I told you to minimize your taxes, improve your credit, okay, so you can refinance some items, go debt free, and start investing afterwards. But I don't want to say afterwards. You're gonna have to find, because it depends on where you are and what your age is. You probably need to get started as soon as possible. But instead of getting an extra job to try to increase your flat cash flow, what if you got an extra job to put that into your investments while you're ditching debt with the money that you've already been making? Okay, because it is possible. Okay, a way to help you with that is by using your budget. But that's a whole nother subject. And all of that with the money that you have, let me repeat, the money you are already making can help you lower your taxes. Okay, look at that W-4. Mm. You can start a business. Mm. You can get rid of your debt. Mm. And then you can invest. And those are some ways that can help you increase your cash flow. All right. But yeah, this money thing is real. I've seen people, close to me, even myself, been stressed, depressed. I've seen people have mental breakdowns. I have seen people give up their kids. And I've even talked to somebody, whose family member killed themselves because of the lack of boundaries. But there was a friend of the family, lost their job. Y'all, money is real. Just looking at me, like, I was just a few years ago, I was overspending. And, I started to assess when, one of my roommates was moving out. I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot afford my bills if I was in the red. Like, every, if everybody was gone, how would I be able to afford my bills? Would I be able to afford my bills by myself? And the answer at that time was no. So I made some quick changes, and thankfully I did. And these were the things that I implemented. Okay. I implemented these. Getting the extra couple $100 back on my paycheck, that helped me to, start increasing my cash flow. I was able to start my emergency fund. I was able to pay off my car 6 months early. In the first year, I paid off $15,000 worth of debt. Now, understand, I did not get a new job. I didn't get a part-time job. I paid off the money that I paid off debt and started an emergency fund and paid my car off early with the money that I already had. And the crazy part is that, you think about it, like, where did that money come? Like, where did it come from? I could have probably paid off my house in the 6 or 7 years that I've been here, because, but I was not, the mindset wasn't there. So you really have to change, your mindset. And we have to look at our behaviors and our emotions, our past, our upbringings, because your money problems are rarely about money. And I can prove it when I sit down and talk to people. It's usually some type of behavioral, or or at some habits, right? The habits that we have. But what controls our habits? Our mindset. And so let's start with our mindset, then the actions. And we have to be crazy and courageous and confident with our finances. So I'm telling you, my first years doing these strategies, um, I, it was great. Now I'm up to having paid off $30,000. I don't like debt anymore because look, when we get debt, boy, we happy. We real happy, happy, happy. So, but no, I'm not applauding that new car, unless you got a plan to pay it off. I'm not applying it. I'm just not. We got to have a plan, okay? So before you even get the car, have a plan on how you're gonna pay it off in a quick hurry, okay? Because we have to start looking at assets versus liabilities, all right? But I personally told everyone, all my close friends who I know who need help. I've even had, a child friend reach out to me wanting me to do taxes. And I'm like, bro, I don't do taxes, right? Because once I caught on to the different ways that people are living, debt free and, retiring at 36 and 44, different ages that are way under 65, right? I just had to tell everybody. So about five of my family and friends, they took action. And one of my family members fiddled around for a year and then they got started, And so I know it feels so good when you pay off your debt and you get your money right. So it's really about, your mindset and money management. Okay. So just think about this. What are you going to do today? What are you going to do? Are you ready to shift your income? All right. So if you're ready to shift your income, and I have not been looking at the comments because I've been talking, y'all. Talking. Um, you know, uh, Connect with me. Go to www.thecashflowconvo.com, and I have to look on here. It's hard. It's hard running your own stuff, y'all. Go to www.thecashflowconvo.com and make sure that you go there, and that's going to actually today for the next 24 hours. It's going to funnel you if you want to know more information about this. There's a membership that you can get, that will help you, right? You have a person to look at your taxes. You have credit repair specialists that will fix your credit and write the letters for you. You have financial advisors that you can jump on the phone with, set up an appointment with, so that you can talk about where to grow your money. Those sleep coins, right? You can't make money while you're sleeping. And you also have, you get a debt plan. And so especially if you're like somebody who you want the works without paying, the works price. So that's definitely one place to go, is join the membership, because sometimes we want to do everything alone, and you can go slow going alone. Trust me, going alone is slow. I'm a do it yourself type person. And so I know that doing it yourself it takes a longer time, but there's no glory in doing it by yourself or with others. The point is just to get out of debt, to get your money on the right track, but when you work together, when there's more hands working with you to, help, It's so much better. Like you feel, because a lot of times when we're in our predicaments, we feel like we're alone. And you don't have to feel like that. Like you just don't. And so no, I work with people individually. So if you want to work one on one, you can do that, but you could work it with this membership is way cheaper. It's way cheaper, but you can always get me as an add-on. So if you want a personal financial coach to even walk you through the program, because now even with all of that, they even have a home buyers program to help you if your credit score is in the 400s and you're really trying to buy a house. They're going to work with you to get you to, like, because they have even the lawyers to help you, because there is a way sometimes if you go through lawyers to dispute the items on your credit report. They have like rapid ways where they can just talk to the debtors and things like that to get stuff removed from your credit report. So, if you're looking to buy a home, that's even another reason to get with this membership. So, what you can do is go to the www.thecashflowcombo.com. It's going to funnel you over to just a a spreadsheet, a Google Doc, right? And it'll have all my information there, and you can just use that link, and it will take you right there. And that's pretty much it, y'all. We got to get this money thing right. I know those are some different ways to think about, increasing your cash flow. I can list off 100 things to do, dog sit, pet sit, do this, that are all labor intensive. But sometimes we really have to start with the money that we already have. And the money that we already have can, I mean, I'm sorry, like after you have not been working on the weekends for a long time, you got to find ways to do certain things. It's like, ugh, and I'm just thinking about the person who may have kids who, you're single, and, we can't break our bodies down, because then if we're not in good health, if we don't have, take some of that time to get out of the stress load of money, where will we be? So I like to look what we already have. And what you already have, if you're working, you already have a paycheck, and you already have money sitting in your paycheck that you can utilize. If you are able bodied, you have some gifts and talents in you, right, that you can utilize to start a business. And even this membership offers an opportunity for you to share it with a few people, and you could have it free, right? So the membership could pay for itself. So not necessarily free. It could pay for itself, if you have three people along with you. So, we show everything, from our phones, and, hey girl, where you get those shoes from, and different things like that all day long, right? And not thinking that we're actually affiliates to the different companies that we are showcasing, and so we do it all the time. When you show your car, when you say how great this was, or how awesome your vacation planner was, that's a shout out, and it is an advertisement, and that's what advertisements are, a shout out to show how good the service is. And what's best than testimonial? So if you're interested in the membership, or if you're just interested in work with me, you can just go to www.thecashflowcombo and go ahead and look at the information there and connect with me. Okay. If you're ready to, you can always set up a 15-minute consultation, and we can talk to see, what it is, where you need to go, and how we might possibly work together. All right, y'all. Well, it's been great here, getting back in action. Getting back in action. And so I just wanted to come on and just talk about that, and just kind of bust the little the bubble, bust the bubble of, me not seeing you all in a while. So don't forget to, if you are on Clubhouse, come follow me on Clubhouse, at Rashida Roberts, and join the club. The club is I Dream of Financial Success. We're also on Facebook at I Dream Financial Success. It's a group. And so you know, I want to grow the group, but hey, this also want to help people. And so answer your questions, offer, n- offer not financial advice, but what it is that I'm doing. So I definitely share my own journey there. So don't wait. Look, if you wait when I get get up here, look, when you wait, it's gonna cost you. It's gonna cost you. So you better get me now. But yeah, this is Rashida Roberts here with Target Financial, your favorite educator. And y'all, guess what? This book will be out so soon. So I cannot wait because it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And I want y'all to make sure that you jump in there with me and get the book because we're going to be going through it. And I can't wait for some people to be crushing their debt with me, find their spark, 7 steps to ditch stress and ignite your financial lifestyle. So I just want to show that really quick because you know man, it's gonna be fire. I love it. I already got some great feedback on it, but just really quick here. Wonderful. Have a wonderful night. Bye.